So now, how do you time the dial to the cylinder? Well, here's how you do it. I'm going to watch right here. This is called the working area. Okay?
Because the needles are down.
Yeah, this is where the work is done. This is where the stitches are created, right here. Do I care what's happening over here? No. I only care what's happening right there.
Because that's where it's going to mess up.
That's where it's going to work. That's where the work's being done. Over here, it's just moving around. Nothing's happening. So if your machine has hula, and what hula means is that this center pin is not exactly in the center anymore. And as you,
my machine does that.
yeah, and as you crank, the dial will look like it's doing the hula. Okay? Where as long as it's doing this, you don't care.
But when it started with the
When it does this, because this arm has been bent this way and it's higher on one side and lower and out of center, now it's doing this. You got major problems. Something needs to be fixed. This arm has become bent over time. These arms on the antique machines, the one piece like what you've got, can get bent over time. They're made to bend because you don't have the screw to adjust in and out, so you're supposed to bend it. Okay? So after 100 years, you know, they got bent. But you have to know how to put it back to where it was originally. So that's why this is titled, How to Get It Back to the Factory Adjustments. Where was it when it was new? Okay? So, hula, I don't care what it's doing here as long as it's good here. Okay? If the hula is causing right here for it to be a great big gap or an overlap where the dial is over the side, then I've got a problem. But I only care right there. Slot alignment, adjusting the fin to the slot. All I care is that the alignment is good here. If the machine has a lot of hula, they may be off over here. I don't care what it's doing over here. All I care about is right there. Okay? Timing. I don't care what it is over here. I just want it right there. Now, I have a different way of timing a machine. In the antique books, which depending on which one you read, there are 3 different ways of adjusting timing. All 3, to my way of thinking, are incorrect. Allison, a better lever. Here's my theory behind it. If I have all cylinder needles in, no ribber, just cylinder, and I crank, the needles will come up in sequential order. They'll go down in sequential order. The latches will close in sequential order, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Just because I change a cylinder needle for a rubber needle, the latches should still close in the same sequential order, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just because I swap one for another, it should not change the timing. So I'm timing the dial to the cylinder. If the cylinder closes 1, 2, 3, 4, just because I change a rubber needle, it should still close 1, 2, 3, 4. Watch. Watch very closely. The latches close. There. 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 1, 2, 3, 4. See it? Now we're going to come over here to where the rubber needles are. From over here. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So it's perfect.
See it? The next one. The next one. The next one. See it?
Yes.
Okay, here in the back. Closing, 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 closing. See how it does it in sequential order? Now we'll do it over here. Close, 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 close. See it? Now watch.
I have a question on the spring.
Yes,
You still have the spring on this thing, is that good?
I don't care.
Okay.
What's the
Just a
purpose of the
question.
spring? What's the spring do?
To hold the needles in.
Nope. The stitchers are holding the needles in.
Oh, okay.
Keep them in alignment?
The only reason for that spring on there is when there's no stitches on the needle, it holds the needle in the slot and to hold the stitch up out of work. That's it. Is it required for either of those two things to happen right now? Do I have to have the spring on the machine? I can take it off the machine, it would still work. I just happened to leave it in the spring holder, and that was that grinding sound you heard.
Yeah.
If you do that all the time, you'll literally grind a groove in the spring holder. The spring will actually grind a groove in there. I've seen some that, you know, they're that deep on either side, big groove in it, because the person never takes the spring on with the spring holder. Okay, fine. Look on some Laguerres, that wire that's bent around, it's got a big groove in it. That's because it left the spring holder. Okay, does it matter? No. You ready? Here it goes. Watch the sequence. Now, I'm going to continue cranking. Look up and look at me. I'm not watching the machine. I'm looking at you guys. I don't care.
Because you know it's doing it right.
Guess what? I can hear it. The clicking to me is music.
Yeah, I like the clicking.
Yeah.
I can be cranking and have my earbuds in, listening to music, or have my computer over here and I've got a video on or something, music video or something, and I'm just cranking away. And as long as that clicking is going nice and musical, I know everything's working, and I'm just cranking away. Just and all of a sudden I'll go, oh, something happened. And I stop and I look. Whenever you hear that very distinctive ding, and you'll hear that every once in a while. What happened is a latch was halfway and it just hit on the yarn carrier. Something went wrong. That little tink, and it's a very distinctive sound, it's ding. You stop immediately. Oh shit, what happened? You look. You don't touch anything, you just look. Okay, I know something went wrong, what happened? And 9 times out of 10 you'll find a drop stitch. And you've only moved about that far. Is it still time to save it? Yeah, you can still save it usually.
How do you save a drop stitch with a river on?
Like this. Right here. It'll be hanging right there. It'll be hanging right there.
Okay.
So you just take your hook and you just kind of grab it.
Okay. But otherwise you're SOL?
No,
No?
just take the ribbers, put the cylinder in.
What did you say? Take the river?
Okay,
Put a
okay.
cylinder needle.
Put cylinder needles in.
Okay.
Transfer all your stitches back to the cylinder.
Oh. Take the river off.
Don't move anything.
Yeah.
Take the ribber off.
Oh, and then catch your
Then
stitch.
catch it. Then put the rubber back on.
Oh, that's a lot of work.
Yes, it is a lot of work, okay? But it's better than starting over.
Right.
Tell you a secret.
That's when you say.
When I make my socks,
No.
I start at the top with the ribber off, and I do the 2-row hung hem. Then I put the ribber on. Then I do the cuff. Then I take the ribber off, and I switch ribber stitches. Then I do the leg. Then I take half the stitches off, and I do the pre-heel. Then I take the ribber completely off, and I do my heel. Then I put the ribber back on. Then I do the foot. Then I take the ribber off, and I do the pre-toe. Then I do the toe. 7 needle changes. 5 times the ribber came off and went back on in one sock.
I do
Okay.
leave my ribber on when I do
Yeah.
my heels.
Yeah, some people do the heel and the toe with the ribber on. I just found it's not that big a deal to take the ribber off.
Is park the ribber needles.
What does parking the ribber needles mean? Here it is right here. Take the ribber needle, kind of extend it out, invert it upside down or right side up. I'll show you both ways. And stuff it underneath the spring.
And you would do that so you can,
Then I take the ribber off.
Then you can take the ribber
Then
off.
I can do the heel.
Yeah.
Put it back on, unpark the needles. put it
Unpark
back
the
on
needles,
ribber.
put them back in the slots, and you're good to go.
Could you do that on this
it's
side?
an accommodation
Sure.
for my hands. I'm much more likely to drop.
Is that when you have a pattern so you know where they go? You don't have to
Sure.
run?
Well, you know, I was dropping
Okay?
stitches so bad.
There's
on
another
the
way
heel,
of parking
and I
a
did
needle.
That's what I did.
And one person does it one way and one person does it the other. The other way of doing it is just stick the needle, just pull it out of the slot, put it in the next slot, and park the hook under the spring. See?
That's how I did.
I damaged a hook one day,
Did you?
and I don't do it that way anymore.
So you do it the other way?
Yeah.
Can you
Okay.
show it on
With the
the
hook.
Yep.
So you park
Okay,
the
this
needle.
one's parked, so let me unpark it.
So you can go around with the needles parked like that?
Well, you're not going around.
Because you're just taking the ribber off.
You're just taking the ribber off.
Oh, and
So
then
this
you're...
is just holding everything, just temporarily holding anything to take the ribber off, fix the stitch, put it back on and go right back to where you were.
Okay, so when
It's
you
just a quick
when
way.
you do the heel, you're only working on like 6, or not 6.
Yeah,
like
you're only
half.
working on this half of the cylinder.
So you can have them parked on the other side?
Oh yeah, you don't care. You can go back and forth and back and forth, you don't care. Okay, I'll park on this side.
Wow, that's cool.
Okay, I'm going to pull the needle out. I'm going to push it down into the cylinder slot,
The matching cylinder slot, right?
matching cylinder slot, and I'm going to put the hook underneath the spring.
Oh, that wasn't that difficult.
Okay?
just think that was
Now, I damaged a hook one day doing this.
So there's enough room in there for a cylinder needle and a...
No, there's no cylinder needle in that slot. There's either a ribber or a cylinder.
Oh, right, because they're...
Already open.
Huh? Okay?
So you have a parking spot?
Yeah. So here's the other way to park. Pull the ribber needle out, turn it upside down,
And park it like a cylinder needle.
and park it just like a cylinder needle.
And that won't mess up your stitch, like twisting your stitch when you put it back? No, because you're gonna
Untwist
untwist
it
it
the other way.
Okay,
So when you park, you always turn one way. When you unpark, you turn the other way.
okay.
Okay?
but you still don't do that either.
Take through that, just take them out and swap them. It's just as easy for me.
what do you do?
Swap them. I just go back to cylinder needles.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Because you're handling a needle anyhow.
Yeah, I'm handling the needle anyhow. I might as well just swap it. How much, I mean, see what I'm doing to park and unpark? And make sure the latch is open, the stitch is open. Or is it easier?
Just to swap your stitch over.
To do that?
Actually, that was faster, wasn't it?
But for a newbie, how do you know if you, where the ribbing is?
Because you've got the ribber off
Okay,
and you see it. My rib is right there. Leave that needle out.
okay.
That's the one I gotta switch. The one that's sitting up, that's the one I switch. And normally I have my spring on, so it just stays there. That's the one I wanna switch. And I just leave it on.
And then she's managed.
So so I'm only doing a 3x1 rib just on the top. So there's not very many.
Yeah.
So I can get really fast.
Yeah.
Park it off and come
Boom,
back on.
boom, 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 and you're back to normal.
And I'm back to normal.
And you
Then that
don't,
way I watched if I drop it, because that's how I learned not to drop stitches when the ribber down.
pay attention.
Absolutely.
Well, this is
Crank slowly. Listen to your machine. You can actually feel it in your hands as you're
Yes.
cranking. if all of a sudden something stops, something jams, stop.
But that's kind of cool. If you
Look,
again,
find out what
find
happened.
your currents that you use.
Fix it
That's
first
really cute.
before you have a disaster. Crank slow, watch, pay attention. You're just paying attention to your machine. The machine will tell you if it's happy or not. Just pay attention to it.
I stand up all day as I.
Okay? Now,
Sometimes we keep standing.
we have adjusted
I work till I die, hopefully.
the ribber dial height to the yarn carrier, which is adjusted to the cylinder.
And how did we adjust the height of that with that knob?
That's the thing.
Well, it depends on your machine.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got a screw on the top here.
Yeah, that's how we did it, yeah.
Sometimes you got a screw up here.
Yeah.
This one has a little lock nut with an Allen wrench that goes up
Underneath,
underneath.
that's what I do, okay.
Okay?
Okay, perfect.
That adjusts the height of the ribber. We have the slots aligned so that the ribber slot is aligned to the cylinder slot.
And that's
We don't care over here, we're watching here, right? So as long as the cylinder slots and the ribber slots are aligned, at this point, we don't care what's happening over here. And then we adjusted the timing of the needles so they close 1, 2, 3, 4.
And that's the distance.
What if they don't close 1, 2, 3, 4? What if they close 1, 2, 3, 4? Or 1, 2, 3, 4? That's when you have to make an adjustment. And here's how you do it. Remember that screw that I showed you next to the ribber stop?
Yes.
The drive pin? And see that little screw?
Oh, yeah.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the drive pin out and I'm going to rotate I'm going to hold this and I'm going to rotate this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. See it?
That little screw, yep.
That screw right there.
Yep.
There's a jam nut on the back side and there's a Phillips head screw here.
Jam nut.
This is the jam nut right there.
That's a locking nut?
Yeah, lock nut.
Oh, okay.
Okay? See the little lock nut?
Right behind
Right
the
there.
head.
Right here.
Yes.
Oh, that one? That's
Yep.
just-
That's the lock nut right there.
Oh, okay.
Okay? That's the lock nut, and this is the screw. So here's how you do it. Put the screwdriver in. Hold it. The screw can't move. Then unlock the lock nut. Screw hasn't moved. I can rotate the screw out or in. Remember the drive pins over here. If the screw goes out, the tappet plate will move in that direction. Right? That's advance. If the screw goes in, the tappet plate will move in that direction. That's retard. Latches, the ribber latches will close slower, faster.
Oh, cool.
Advance, retard. So let's say, and let me put that drive, you gotta go around.
And this is for timing, right?
Yep.
Okay, so
Now,
timing.
I've just done what is called a slip stitch right here. It dropped those stitches out. See it? So they're gonna run. We don't care at this point. I'm just putting the driver back in, and now the tappet plate's gonna turn, and we're gonna watch on both sides the needles again. So because the stitch dropped off, I have to manually open the latch, and we're gonna watch the timing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, boom. See how they close so close together right here? This one to this one's closed late. So this ribber moved that direction. It advanced. So I want to retard it. So what you do,
It's the other way.
gently lift the drive pin, do this and turn the screw so that the tappet plate moves. And then crank again. Okay, let's go around to this side. I'm watching right there. Latch close, latch close, latch close, latch close, latch close. Now it's back in. Now I'm going to make it really bad off. Okay? I'm going to really mess it up for you. So you can see it messed up. Watch right here. I'll show it over here too. Latch close. See it? See those two close almost together? Then this one, boom. See them close almost together? That's closed already. This one's waiting, and boom, boom. See them?
Yes.
Okay, watch over here. Let me make it even more. Okay?
Obviously bad.
It takes about a quarter turn of this screw. Watch. See them?
Close together.
See?
Together.
Okay, we'll go back on this side. Show it to you over here. Boom, boom. See it late?
Yeah.
Boom, boom,
Oh, those two close together, yeah?
boom, boom.
Yeah.
See it?
Yeah,
So
it's
what
not
you
in
do,
harmony.
remember the engineer's creed. Make one adjustment at a time and only one adjustment, then crank, see if it gets better. If it does, great. If it got worse, you know what adjustment you made. Take that adjustment back out and go in the other direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this screw 1/4 turn. Tighten up the jam nut. Haven't moved the screw. Tighten up the jam nut.
You're tightening the nut, and what does that do? That's
Keeps the screw from turning.
So we turn the screw just a little.
Oh, and then you tighten
held
the-
it.
And then tightening it to hold it.
Okay. And now
Stop.
you're gonna check. Gotcha.
Now check.
One
Make an
intervention at a
adjustment.
time.
Check. Does it get better or does it get worse?
What do you think?
Got
No,
worse.
Got worse, yeah.
See? See?
Those two virtually at the same time. now.
Watch right here. Lock closed. Waits, waits, waits. See them close together?
Yeah.
It got worse.
So you gotta go the
Okay.
other- You gotta go the other way.
Put the screwdriver in. Hold it so it can't move. Back off the jam nut. Turn. 1/4 turn increment. 1/4.
Untighten.
Tighten the hole so you don't lose anything.
So is that the standard then, Steve, is always 1/4 turns when you're adjusting things?
For me, yeah.
Okay.
You know where I got it? That's in 1/4 increments. So I kept everything the
In
same.
quarter, okay. That makes sense.
Okay, on this side, we'll watch it. Close, 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 close. Better.
Better, but not good.
Better, but not exact. Okay, right here. Close, 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 close. Better, but not exact yet. Okay, over here. Close, 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 close. Better, but not exact. So let's go 1/8 of a turn.
So, and
Because
we're,
it's
and
really- we're
we're
really close.
retarding it, not advancing it,
We
right?
don't care. Make an adjustment, crank, see if it gets better or worse. Go the direction it makes it better.
Okay, but
Don't-
if,
Just remember which one you did last.
okay.
So he's turning the thing counterclockwise.
Counterclockwise, which is retarded.
Forget clockwise, counterclockwise.
Yeah.
What you think, which way is the tappet plate gonna move? Think that. Okay, Watching on this side. 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, boom.
That's better.
Damn near perfect.
Yeah.
Watch right here. Close, 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 close. Watch here. Close, 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 up. Close, close, close. That one needle is kind of odd. You know what I'll bet? If I pull that needle, I'm going to find it's the wrong length. I'll almost bet that this one river needle is different. Close, 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 close. That's good. That's pretty good.
If you didn't recognise that, what kind of problem will that create if you keep on knitting? Drop stitches? You'll drop stitches, yeah.
It'll start to ball up. Now, when you have everything timed and you are ribbing, while you are adjusting, you're watching here, behind the yarn carrier where the stitching is happening. But when you're actually ribbing, you watch in a different place. Watch right here. As I crank around, the river needles are going to stick out and the stitch is going to ride down and the latch, it's going to pop off the end of the latch. It's going to happen right there. See it? That's where I'm watching when I'm ribbing. As the needle comes out, I want to see a stitch on it. If it does not have a stitch on it, something drop, stop right now. Fix the stitch, put it back on the needle. You're okay from here all the way to here until you can catch it. But you caught it before you made the next stitch. And there's still time to fix it. So while I'm stitching, while I'm cranking, I'm watching right here. See it? Right there? We'll come around. Watch right here. See it come out? See the latch open?
Yep.
Okay, watch right over here. Watch it come out. You see the latch open? See the latch open? I can actually see it cranking this fast. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. Watch right here. You'll see the stitch come out and you'll see the stitch on it. See right there? And that's normal cranking speed for me. Okay? I can actually watch it. And if I drop a stitch, the needle will come out and there won't be a stitch on it.
Right.
Stop. And when you've got, a ton of rubber needles in here and it's going all around, it's almost, you don't really have to pay attention because something odd will pop out in your eye. Your eyes will see the thing that's different. If everything is the same, your eyes won't notice it that much. But you'll see that one thing that went different.
My grandmother could find 4-leaf clovers like that.
That's exactly right. You see the oddity. So
One of the secrets is not to crank fast.
yeah, one of the whole secrets. This is how fast I crank all the time.
Because you can hear it and see it.
Hear it,
I
see
can
it,
totally hear it.
nothing is wrong, and guess what?
You're knitting pretty fast.
I'm beating the Guinness Book of World Record every time.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
That poor lady can only do 181 stitches a minute. Big deal. I got you beat, lady. Sorry, right there. Yeah, it's done.
Cool.
Thank you.
What was the name of that thing that you called when the steel hits the aluminum and it caught?
Galling. Galling.
Galling. Okay.
Galling.
Galling.
Like gallbladder.
Yeah.
Galling.
And you stop that from happening by making sure there is Vaseline
Vaseline.
in between the two metals.
Yeah,
And that's a lot different than electrolysis, right?
correct.
Yeah, calling.
Yes.
And sorry, what did you say, Sally?
Oh, well, when you have, you put two separate metals in seawater, one
Then
of them
you
will
have
deteriorate.
electrolytic action, which is basically the seawater acts like the acid in a battery.
Yep.
And ions move from one piece of metal over to another. This one gets bigger, that one disappears.
That's why we have dielectric fittings now on hot water tanks.
Yes, and why you have zinc anodes on propeller shafts of ocean-going yachts.
Yeah.
The zinc
Yeah.
does the electrolyte
Yeah.
instead of it eating your shaft apart. Yeah.
So if you do find galling on there, how did you say you get rid of it?
Throw it away.
A file.
Oh.
No,
away,
literally.
buy a
Yeah,
new
you
one.
may have to end up throwing it away depending on how bad it is.
Okay, so-
But stop and
Take a look
file.
at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
File, sandpaper, you've got to get it back smooth.
And you would notice it.
The aluminum have actually, it started to jam up on you. And all of a sudden it'll go,
You'll know.
and this piece will not come off of that piece anymore.
Yeah. That's what happens to my trailer
Well,
hitch.
no, I couldn't find Daryl's video for putting it together, so. Daryl actually tapped those holes in my machine at the Cape, and this one's not straight. So that,
Oh, okay.